Good day everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about this Artesania Latina stagecoach that I've been building. Just some of the little things that turn my hair a little bit grey at times, how they explain how to do things, but I'm sure that they have a reason why they do that. Now today I'm going to show you how I overcome a problem, and one of those problems was it's okay to glue these with super glue, these points there, but it's not okay to glue this onto just the post. Do not take any notice of those little spaces. I'll talk about those later. So all I say is glue it to the post, glue it to the post. Well, to me that's not acceptable, because you know, if someone touches it, it'll fall off after a while. Super glue is only good until exposure, and it starts to wear down and lose its gluing ability. So yeah, and of course I'll talk about other things, how they describe in like hanging the curtains, or the leather curtains here, and how I've done them. Just a little bit tidier, I would say, with authenticity included in how I've done it. Maybe it looks too neat at times. I look at it, oh, it's too neat. It needs a little bit crumbly, but doesn't matter. But this model gets you thinking. And I think it's not the top model to make. It's just one of those teaching models that you learn how to cut wood, how to finesse with measurements, fine measuring, and actually it's been a good little project and it's kept me very active. Well, sitting down, being active and thinking about it and using my brain a little bit more. And anyway, I'll progress on with this build and see what you reckon. Okay, to achieve some accuracy about making these little joiners, is I made up a little jig. I don't know, you can see it's a 3mm hole here with that 3mm hole here, so that rod goes in there, and it's drilled to a good accurate depth of 4mm. I put it in there, it's a nice and tight fit, not interfering fit, a sliding fit. And then when it's bedded right in there, full depth, I put in the drill press, and there you are. You can see the that hole, which puts a vertical, which puts a hole straight through there, which accurately goes into the middle. Bit hard to get there we are, which is exactly in the middle of that shaft, or the corresponding hole. But some of them have got a 90-degree offset to this. So if you look, you see that one, then I turn it around and face that one, there's the other one. So I drill through that way. So we got a 90-degree hole either side. Now to stop that hole that I've drilled first up from moving, I pin it, well, you know, put a drill in it just to stop it from moving, and then drill this hole here, or vice versa, whatever one I want to do first. And then I go and drill a hole along the shaft. Then we drill a hole like that through there. Of course, this all depends on how accurate that I can get into the centre of the brass. And what I do is I cut off a piece about 12mm long, because these joiners are only 4mm long, and that way I can make two, and plus I can do the drill. By the time I cut them off and all that, 12mm, you're not left with very much material afterwards. And then I show you the next move, what I do. It's all very interesting how this involves. This come about because the stanchions, or the uprights, the posts, these uprights, are aluminium cast. Now I don't know why they've done that, because they made these brass and then they want you to join up the two, because they shorted a bit different design on here and that one, then you had to solder them up together. Well, that's good. You can solder these ones here, and then you got to run them through here, and then you got to glue them. But the whole idea there, this bottom rail, which is 1.5mm, okay, that joins onto this 1.5mm, is held on there by a bit of super glue. Now, I let it dry for 2 hours, and it still was not fitting. It was not fitting properly. Well, it was loose. Well, it broke away. I said, oh, I've got to come up with something else different. So I went and sussed out how to make these. And I've gone ahead and I'm going to show the whole lot. But first of all, the routine, what you got to do is start from this point and work your way through. Okay, I'll solder that one on wherever that goes. I'll solder that first one onto there, and then I'll start moving that way. And that way, that's it. This one here is a little bit different. This one here at the end, this one here at the end is going to be a little bit different how I join it up. But one thing you must do first is glue your posts all in the upright position and correctly in their own spot before, because to put in these things you have to cut the posts itself, and it's a little bit of accurate work is needed there. You do not glue these into the bottom here. Okay, they've all got to be loose. They've all got to be upright when they join, you know, standing vertical before you do the gluing. So we go through the process how I do it, and I hope I can give you an idea how to do this, because it's just ridiculous trying to glue this on, because as I've had said before, super glue will deteriorate over time, and before you know, you'll have one of these, touch it and it'll fall off. This way they have a little bit of secure, because there's a hole going through there, as I'll show you, and they join in, and that's the secret. How do you join them in? But that's good. It's a good exercise, and it certainly does look better that way. I eventually will put one here and another one there, support posts, because this has got two. I should have two up the front. What's the difference between the front and the back? You got to look after you have to look after the drivers, don't you? Driver and his offsider, shotgun or whatever they call them. And of course, this has all got to be painted, so you can't glue down these points here. Any of these points here you can't glue down on the base. You can do these, but you can't do these. And then you've got to be able to lift it out, so the hole's got to be free enough so you can support the whole fence line. So when it comes out, you can go back in. It can be a little bit of a pain, and well, let's see what we can do, eh? Hang in there. Okay, now I've drilled the holes in these pins. You see that they're about 11 or 12 mil long. Okay, there's a reason for that. When you're drilling, it's best to come from each way, but when you're holding a chuck, if you're only making 4 mil long, it's a bit hard to get it to sit in the chuck jaw. So either keep it longer, you've got better clamping, so you drill partial way, halfway one way, then halfway the other, and usually you can get them pretty well close to spot on. But of course you've got to centre the end first. I use a small centre drill, the smallest one you can get, and put a mark in there, and then I'll go forth from there. Okay, let's make the move to the next part of it. Well, before I go, we've got 8 of those that I've got to make, and then 2 of these, which are 90 degree by 180 horizontal and vertical joiners. Now they go on the corner that are 90 degree sort of, but one of the things I do, which is a good point, is all the uprights are 1.5 mil, but it's best to, all the uprights are 1.5 mil, but it's best to make it a little bit bigger than 1.5 mil, so another 10 thou, 5 or 10 thou, or 0.12 bigger, so you got at least a little bit of movement, and that's better for the super glue to sit inside there and form a solid bond. And yeah, so let's go forth to the next project. First of all, I'll go and drill right through this, and then I'll then put that in here and do 90 degree, 90 degree. The reason why I don't want it too weak when I do the 90 degree hole here. I don't want it too weak, 90 degree hole, sorry, through there, then that side there. I don't want it too weak because it won't hold in the chuck here. Okay, let's go forwards. After drilling the first hole, put a dowel in there so it holds it steady, and then you come in to through the top. See that? Through the top here, and you start drilling. As soon as you've got an indent into your brass peg in here, okay, take that out and then drill it through until you feel it break through. That way you've done the job completely. So we'll do that now. Take your pin out. break through nicely. So now we've got a hole going. We've got to go a hole going through there, and through there. Right. I've done the other side. I forgot to record how I done one, but that's alright. Now the next one is this one on the end, which is this pointer. That's only just sitting there at the moment. I'll take it out and show you. Now what I plan to do with this is I'm going to cut these sections here, right? But first of all I've got to join it over there. So I've got to go make a joiner that sits on the end here, which would be 3mm. I have to, on the ends, got to shape it out so it fits at that point there, nice and snug around that diameter there. And it's a 3mm drill into the brass rod. Hopefully I can get it in the centre. Then I drill a hole through the middle of it, which is 2mm. I did make some that were 1.5mm, or yeah, 1.5mm. But I'm getting there. But the only thing is, I have to glue it all together as one. Yes, so that is my job today. I might just give you a look at how tedious it is to do, but you actually can. I must give you heads up that when you do these and make up these, I'll use the wood lathe to make them up, and they're 4mm long. These ones here, the same length as these. A 1/8 rod, brass rod I got out there. A bit of welding rod it was, and which probably was bronze. Anyway, but it done the job. Because these things are aluminium, it's just impossible to do anything else but that. And of course I've got these spacers here which are exactly 6.25mm. I sanded them up by hand until they're perfectly 6.25mm, and that's just sitting there nicely, and that's how you set it before you glue these sections here. It's worked out perfect yet so far. I'm yet to have a problem. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 so far, and no problem. So with this one here on the corner, we've got to go this way. It's a joiner which is at 90 degrees, which goes across that way. I'm going to cut it here for this rod to go through. I'll put the brass rod, and the brass rod will go all the way as one. Okay, there's a reason for that, and the reason is there's more strength in one length than whatever, because you've got to take this whole thing out, and as a post it's more secure, less chance that it's going to break off or anything when you, because I've got to take this frame out afterwards, all this that I've done here with that attached, and you notice I've got deeper, I've left the legs the same length. I might make them shorter after I've done this, but I dare say that everything's got to come out, then I've got to prop it up and I've got to spray paint it ready for final installation, which I might do, I would say, after I've done the boot, which finished off the boot, you know, made the leather and all that. It's funny enough there, you know, I must bring this up now. They go to great extremes that you've got to make up all this work, and then you put a pin on each corner and all that. And then you think about it, why the heck are they doing that? It's going to be because their leather boot that you've got to make is all covered in. So I'm going to make some alterations on that so that leather boot is not going to be all covered in. I'll be able to open it up and all this. Hopefully I might be able to buy some or make some things to put inside there too, so it gives a realistic thing. I reckon that I've got about another month or so doing the alterations. Probably another alteration that you might notice when you make these curtains, these look too tidy for me, but unfortunately that's how they come out. But that's alright. I made a wooden rod that goes from this side with a little brass angle thing, which I drilled a hole into there to there, and that's how all the curtains here, all these curtains here are fitted. I am going to put a little bit of a strap down there, just one piece of leather, glue it to that piece there, so it gives the appearance that all you have to do is pull that down. Because I think they were around that time now where they had those reeled down curtains, old times, used to have in their houses and all that. Actually the first blinds ever, I think they were, and I think that's about that time when they were making them, 1800s. Well, I'm really happy how the way the job's gone. The information that they give is enough for an experienced model maker. I'm not an experienced model maker, but I'm learning as I go along. And you know, you just have to use common sense and have a little bit of knowledge in that way of how to do things there. And it seems to be coming out all right, you know. The accuracy of the posts and all that looks very good. I do say that Artesania materials are very good, but it surprised me why they made that out of aluminium, why these posts were made out of aluminium. And this up here were brass, then you have to solder them together and all that, and really it doesn't matter, I suppose. It's all part of the hobby, I suppose, of model making. You have to adapt different skills and all that, and I can see that that's what Artesania have done. So it's been quite good, really. I've certainly enjoyed doing it. Well, geez, but it's not 120 hours, as someone said. Unless I'm doing things wrong now, maybe I am. Maybe there's things that I could have done all at once, like drilling holes and all that. Preparation and all, putting it all back together, but that's the experienced modeller. I'm not an experienced modeller, and this is what happens. I've started November last year, halfway through November. It is now April, and halfway through April, I'm up to the stage, and I reckon I've got another 2 months' work in finishing it off. I've installed. I've done everything except light the lights and all this, but I haven't put them in, finished them off, because I don't want them to get damaged with me moving things around. But you may be able to see in there, if I put a little bit of light on here. Seating, and I've got those completed. This seat in the front here is not, where are we? Has not been, well, it's made up but has not been installed. The reason why is I have used double-sided tape to hold that on, because that's where the wiring goes through for the lights, because it runs on a battery and the lights are working. And of course there's going to be times when you have to go and change a globe if it does blow or something like that, or you want to do maintenance on those globes because the contacts need cleaning and all this. It's very hard to get out the globe while it's like sitting inside the lamp. But all those things I have to still endure. But I take my hat off to Artesania, how they have made these models up. The accuracy of their cuts for the moulding and all that on it, pretty good. So it makes making the model much easier to do. Okay, get back to you when I've sorted out the rest. Cheers. Okay, now I've glued on that little spacer. It looks alright. Looks part of the works. Same on the other end. Looks okay. Again. very solid now that since it's been glued. Now I don't know if you can. Alright, we'll get to that distance there. You can see the marks I've already put on here. Those are wider marks there. Found the centre of the 2mm rod. That's got to pass all the way along from that end to that end. So this is a mammoth job, and the next one we've got what I'm going to do. Alright, let's go. Okay, now I've cut them all across there, right height, these two in the middle, milled below the centre, with that round, sorry, 3/4 of a mil below the centre. That's where that rod runs through. Over here, I'll cut it. I'm about to fit the, I don't know if you can see that, I'll pick it up. The joiner, the 90-degree joiner that goes on the corner. Gee whiz, lucky it landed there. I tell you what, I'll drop one in the workshop onto the floor. Oh my goodness, it was so hard to find. But I didn't give up until I did find it. I even practiced dropping bits of brass onto the ground the same size and see where to go. And actually didn't even go near it to where this one went. Unbelievable. Okay, yeah, all finished. Looks okay. Much stronger than just gluing it on the rails, handrails onto the uprights. Gives them a lot of strength. Now I'll be able to take the whole lot out and I will spray it. Much easier to do it that way. And I recommend you do that. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time.